Welcome to the 2019 Girls Certified Observers Annual Webinar. In this webinar, we will go through requirements for a certified observer, resources that a certified observer will use, and how to record your ratings and evaluations. Certification requirements. In order to complete the Certified Observer program, the following are required. All participants in the program, whether new certification or recertification, must annually complete these yellow items: a U.S. Lacrosse membership, the annual rules exam, and the annual webinar. People who are new to the program will also have to fill out these requirements: program registration, which is a one-time cost, NCSI background check, which is also good for 2 years, program online course, which is the Certified Observers online course, and the program or the Rules online course, the Girls Rules online course. Let's take a look at the resources for the Certified Observer. We will now walk through the resources that are available to the certified observers. In order to find these resources, you'll go to uslacrosse.org, the main page. From here, you're going to hit the officials, go to the observer certification, and then you'll scroll down. Notice on the right-hand side, we have the Certified Observers Library. This is when you will have to enter your password. And the password is Lacrosse123 with a capital L. Once the password is put in, you can see what resources that you have. We have rulebooks, trainer certifications. Certified trainers will also have these resources. And the Certified Observer resources are found down below. For 2019, we have inputted new rating forms. Each one of these is new for 2019. If you open the rating form, you'll find a PDF, which is downloadable. So when you get to this point, what you'll want to do is hit the download button. That will download down to the corner of your computer. You can open it up and then print it off. When you're done with that one, you just close it. So we have one for a youth or junior. We have apprentice rating form. We have a combined level 1 and level 2 rating form. The reason this is combined is there are many of the same skills. So as you go through this, when someone's being rated on a 2-person system, based on the number of skills that they have and the assessment at the end, you will determine whether that person is a level 1 or a level 2 rated official. And finally, we have a level 3 rating form. Level 3 rating forms are used for ratings that occur on a 3-person system game. Level 3 ratings may only be awarded when the participant is officiating on a 3-person system game. In addition to the rating forms, we also have checklists. A checklist is an item that is very helpful when you are rating. As you see, the rating forms are quite long. During either an observation or the rating, you may use the checklist to identify the skills that the person has without being distracted by the entire rating form. You can check boxes as well as writing down information that you see. Checklists are very helpful in rating opportunities as well as observations. Again, the resources that we have are rating forms and checklists, and the password listed here for that website is Lacrosse123. The other responsibility you will have as a certified observer is to record officials' ratings following your rating session. The officials, in order to be certified, need to be a U.S. Lacrosse member, have their classroom training fulfilled each year, complete the rules online course, complete the annual rules exams, and hold a current rating. This must be recorded in the officials administration portal. If you are a certified observer, you should have access to this portal and should be able to go in and put in the ratings of the people. This is a small example of what the portal looks like. I've taken the names out, but you can see you can tell if someone has a current membership, their participation, and notice if it says coach or player, these people may be listed in your officials certification portal. You just want to check their participation and make sure they're also listed down here as a player and official or a coach and official. If it comes up just coach or just player, please reach out and let us know so we can fix that. Background checks are not mandatory for officials. However, they are mandatory for you as a certified observer. The certification level, have they taken the online course? Have they taken and passed the online test? As you can see here, only one person has been put in for completing their annual learning. That's their annual classroom training. And this is where you will go in and award a rating. Let's take a look at this portal. Again, in order to get to the portal, we will start at the U.S. Lacrosse website. From here, we will log into our account. Once in the account, over on the right-hand side, you'll find the Officiating Administrative Portal. Once we arrive here, you will see, if I scroll down, I have my options of what my organization is, the game, and the membership status. In this situation, my portal has a lot of organizations, but you should only have the ones that are on your board. So I am going to use the one that I showed you earlier. I don't have to put in game if I don't want to. Active is what's going to happen automatically. And it's going to search for the people in my board. So as you can see here, it's the same board that I just looked at. And in order to give a person evaluation, you'll go over to this far column, on-field evaluation. It'll give you the options, level 1, 2, 3, or a junior. If you have someone who's an apprentice rated official, and we'll go through the rating forms, this is included into the level 1 rating. They're basically a level 1 person who hasn't achieved the highest level in that area. So if we want to give this person a rating, we give them the level 1. Then we go down to the bottom and we want to submit the on-field evaluation. It's always going to ask me, yes, do I want to continue this, or no, do I not want to? So in this situation, I would click yes if I had just rated this person. I'm going to click no because I didn't rate that person. So very simple, and you can award, say you're doing 4 level 1s, boom, 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 give them all a level 1 down the column, and then submit the on-field evaluation. This is one of your responsibilities as a certified observer. If you're observing and rating officials in your board, in order for them to be certified officials, you must complete this process. Our system recognizes all ratings except the apprentice rating. If you have a brand new adult official that is not quite at the level 1, they can be considered an apprentice rated official, and you would fill out an apprentice rating form for that person. Section 3, developing an observation program in your area. Adding an observation to your local organization is an excellent way to improve the officials as well as encourage involvement of veteran officials and build a culture of development and giving back. There is not one cookie-cutter observation program that you have to make work in your area. Modify a program that best suits your needs. For example, if you have a lot of newbies, focus on these folks. Maybe there are a number of 3-person games in your area that are increasing and you want to improve this skill in your officials. You can also run your observation program to focus on them. Remember, everyone wants feedback. We all need feedback in order to improve. Observations are an excellent way to help officials develop without having the stress of a rating or evaluation setting. Observations differ from ratings in that ratings tend to be a one-time evaluation. Observations tend to be more of a training over time situation. We want observations to occur over time and on multiple days. An observer provides an opportunity to give feedback, identify things for that official to work on, as well as offer a safe place for the official to ask questions. Ratings, on the other hand, are more like a test or an evaluation. They take place one time in a year or in multiple years. These are often stressful situations and can be intimidating for a candidate, and therefore may not be a great learning environment. How do you fund your local observation program? You need to determine what are your local board resources. Do you have money in your resources in order to have this program run? Will the game fees from the officials, what program fees will you have? Will you ask the people being observed to pay a fee to be observed? Will you use the money from your officials' game fees, or will you ask them to pay a fee? There are U.S. Lacrosse grants that also have money funding if you look at the U.S. Lacrosse website. You'll need to determine how other expenses will be covered. How will mileage, postage, and paper be covered? There are observers' expenses, and will these be paid by the board? You'll also need to determine if you have a program administrator that will be doing a lot of work for you and should be compensated for that work. The program administrator. Who is going to run this program? That needs to be determined early. You need somebody who's organized. They need to be computer savvy or have a good familiarity with spreadsheets. They need to be capable of planning long-term, and they need to be flexible. As we know, our springs are often not as cooperative as we'd like them to be. Arbiter is a great tool to use for these observations, so you want to have your assigner or an assigner in training be involved. This is a great opportunity for somebody who is not assigning games to get a good jump on how to assign and learn this system. And they may be interested in becoming an assigner in the future. We also need to have somebody who is a good communicator and can communicate with all participants. We want that person also to review observation letters and as well as communicate with both observers and the candidates. This person needs to be a very positive person. How do we choose who will be observed? If your program is working on improving the newer officials in your area, you may look at people with experience for 1 to 3 years of experience. The people who have 4 or 5 years of experience, you may want to use them as being observed on a 3-person system. Who would benefit from a one-on-one observation situation? Is it someone who would accept the feedback? And is it somebody who may see the benefits and is interested in moving along in their officiating skills? Do they have the desire to improve? Are they asking good questions? And do they actually enjoy officiating and look as though they're interested in spending more time improving their game? How do we choose the observers? Ideally, we're looking for U.S. Lacrosse certified observers. However, all boards don't have numerous observers. We would like to use the certified observers to help mentor newer observers. We're also looking for people with experience. Experience is important, but not necessarily a dividing factor. Lower level observers can offer feedback to anyone. In developing areas, there are very few observers. They may have lower level officials giving feedback to higher rated officials in order to both be an observer and an observee. If someone is observing the 3-person system, they should have experience in that system. Effort is expected. If candidates take the time to be there, the observer should also take the time to make it beneficial. We don't ever want to hear an official say, "I don't have anything for you." And finally, is this observer have the ability to deliver constructive criticism? Make sure when we're observing that we are going to see challenges that they have. However, before we pick out things that they're doing wrong, we want to make sure we have an answer for how they can improve this skill. Choosing a venue. Observations should occur 2 to 4 times throughout the season. We want to make sure that officials have time to work on their game between observations. We can do multiple observations throughout the course of any tournament in the summer. We can also do observations during preseason play days. However, if those are taken as an opportunity to do observations, it's important that you follow up later in the season with this participant so that they can see where they have improved and moved along. Keys to a successful observation program. It is ideal to observe participants at least 2 times in order for us to see some improvement. We'd like to ideally get the first observation done early in the season, give that participant time to work on their game, and then see them at least 1 or 2 other times so that we can see the improvement that they have made. Spread them out if possible. Remember, changes will happen as they work over time. This is a great opportunity to have a person in training assigning. If you are adding this to the arbiter, you can use a sub-assigner, or they can work with the assigner. We definitely do not want to add more work to our signers during the season. The observation plan. When we are going to do an observation, it's important to reach out to that observee prior to the game. When we go to do an observation, we want to blend in. We don't want to sit up in the stands and look as though we're observing, and we want to fit in up in the stands. We do not want to observe from the field. We do not want to observe from the table. We want to be part of just people watching the game. We also want to make sure we have a post-game discussion. This is important so that we can give the participant feedback. They can write things down. We will follow up with a written email, but reaching out and talking to that person is great for them to understand where their next steps are. And like I said, we need to follow that up with an email. And that can be a very simple email with bullet points of challenges and bullet points of strengths, and give them information on a few things that they can work on. For the first observation, we want to make sure we have communicated with them at least prior to 10 minutes before the game, because we don't want to have a long discussion. We do want to reach out to them. This can be done with a phone call sometime before the game. We want to identify 3 challenges while we are observing them to keep them focused on. This can be more of a discussion to ensure that those are the best 3 challenges for the candidate to work on. What do they want to achieve during the officiating season? Are they looking for a higher rating? Do they want to feel more confident on the field? Do they want to eventually step into a leadership role? Is this person a seasoned official or a new official? Positioning in extreme situations, what's happening there? Positioning basics we might want to talk about. We're going to talk with them possibly about whistle tone, advantage, holding for advantage, when they should make the decision to blow their whistle. Signaling also is an important thing we can talk about versus signaling and giving direction. Be specific and take notes while you're going. If possible, they may have access to a video. So if you think that that is the case, taking specific notes as to what happened on the field and what time it was on the clock is a great tool for the person to go back and review. Following the game, we want to make sure that we meet with them after the game. This can be done on site, off the field, maybe towards the locker room, or it can be done, you might want to set up a time to meet with them somewhere else locally. At the very least, you should have a conversation with them, whether it's on the phone, on the ride home, and talk with them about what you observed, keep them focused, and try to keep them inspired towards improving. Again, we're also going to follow this up with a detailed write-up. When we're going into our second observation, make sure the program administrator shares with the second observer what occurred in the first observation. You may not have the same observer for both or multiple observations. So it's important that the information from the first observation goes to the next observer. Again, we want to pregame with that person, and that may be just a phone call. That may be reaching out to them the day before, earlier in the day. We want to make sure that we've established what they're working on since the last observation, and we want to keep them achieving more. Reviewing post-game is also important. Let them know where they are in relation to where they were. It's a great tool for them to see how far they've come and the fact that they can continue to improve. Finally, we do want another write-up. Make sure in your write-up you identify areas that they have improved on and what areas they can continue to move forward with. In order for us to make sure our program has worked correctly, we want to have some follow-up on our program as well. We want to collect feedback on the impact that this program has had with our officials. We can do this through different approaches. We can talk with people individually. We can use a questionnaire. We can use a survey that goes to both the people who were observed as well as the people who were doing the observing. Finally, any program that is worth doing is worth measuring the success. As a whole, we want to do an observation survey. We want to see how this program affected our officials, the level of their skills, and we want to look to the future. Are we going to do this program again in the future? And if so, who would we use for mentors? Who would we use for observers? And evaluate your program and see how you can make your program even better than it was. If you have any questions on creating an observation program in your area or improving it, please reach out to us at any time. Thank you for participating and have a great season.